Hello everybody, it's Anna and welcome back to my booktube channel. I'm back! And I'm back today with something that I have been wanting to do ever since I started booktube, and that is an original book tag. So today I am going to be doing the Hanukkah Book Tag, which is a tag that I wrote myself. I looked around on YouTube and there's actually a couple other Hanukkah book tags, but this one is original to me. I will have all of the questions down below, and anybody that wants to can definitely film their own version of this tag, whether you're Jewish or not. I would love to see what you make of this. I myself am Jewish. We are a multi-holiday household in my house. We celebrate Hanukkah and we celebrate Christmas as well. Now, I wanted to do this tag for two reasons. One, it's because I didn't really see a lot of book tags that are for non-Christmas holidays on booktube, and two, because I wanted to do a little bit of education about what Hanukkah is and is not. So to give you a very quick rundown before we get into the tag questions, Hanukkah is a Jewish holiday, a winter festival that takes place over a period of 8 nights. The exact dates of Hanukkah change from year to year because the Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar, and also the day begins with sunset in the Jewish calendar. So if you're ever looking at what's the first night of Hanukkah, that's actually after the sun sets on that day. Hanukkah is a celebration of the miracle of oil. There was a time when a group of Jewish revolutionaries called the Maccabees reclaimed a temple from people that had invaded their homeland, and when they went to go basically re-sanctify the temple, they only had enough oil for one night. As the story goes, that small amount of oil ended up lasting long enough for 8 nights as well to light the menorah within the temple, which is why Jews today celebrate with lighting a menorah for 8 nights. Other parts of the celebration include things like playing the Dreidel game, eating Gelt, which is chocolate coins, and eating foods that are fried in oil like Latkes and jelly donuts, because once again, you're celebrating the miracle of oil. So let's go ahead and get into the tag questions. The first one is the Shamash. The Shamash is the helper candle. So every little menorah at Hanukkah has 8 candles, and then a 9th candle, which is the Shamash, and you use it to light all of the other candles. So for that one, it's going to be a book that ignited or reignited your love of reading, because it's the first one that you light and you use it to light all of the others. For me, this is going to be, it's actually one of the oldest books that I own, The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. This copy of Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, actually, I have had since I was 6 years old. My grandfather gave it to me as a gift for my birthday, and I love it so much. It wasn't until I was older that I realized just how many Christian overtones this series has, but I still love it for igniting my love of fantasy stories and giving me this very childlike sense of magic and wonder that reading gives you. It's funny that a story about kids going to another world is also literally kind of what I love about books, which is going to another world. Okay, number 2 is the Menorah, which is lit for 8 nights, as I have mentioned. So what's a trope or theme in books that you never get tired of? There's a few of these. I love teaching a robot to love. I love themes of found family. I am such a glutton for supportive parents, especially in coming out stories or things, or where the parents were like, oh, we supported you all along, that's great. I love that. I love stories about friendship. I love stories about sibling relationships. These are all things that make me want to read your book. So if that's in your book, I will probably read it. Okay, the third is the Dreidel, which you probably know from the song. It's a little 4-sided top that you spin, and there are Hebrew letters on the outside of the Dreidel, Nun, Gimel, Hey, and Shin. This stands for Nes Gadol Haya Sham, which is a Hebrew sentence that means a great miracle happened there, meaning in, the sort of ancient times. So, because of that, because of these letters that are on the Dreidel, the question for this is, what's a memorable or favorite bookish quote of yours? I feel like I have to go with a couple of classics. There's the Louisa May Alcott's, she's too fond of books and they have addled her brain. There's the quote from Jane Eyre, I am no bird and no net ensnares me. Let's see, what's the other one? Oh, right, in Frankenstein, when the creature says, "Beware, I am fearless and therefore powerful," like, ugh, that gives me chills every time I read it. There's just so many really good bookish quotes out there. I love them. I also love from King Lear when Edgar says towards the end of the play, like, "Speak what we feel, not what we ought to say." That quote in particular is kind of a lodestone for me, and I really, really love it. Okay, the Maccabees. The Maccabees, as I mentioned, were the group of brothers that, had their successful revolution thing, wound up storming back into the temple, and they are the people that, were the ones that wanted to light the menorah to reconsecrate the temple afterwards. So for this is a book that shook up your world, ignited you towards social justice, was sort of a call to action for you. And for me, this is a Jewish book actually. It's There's Nothing So Whole as a Broken Heart, Mending the World as a Jewish Anarchist, which is edited by Cindy Milstein. This is a really great collection of essays by a bunch of radical Jewish anarchists, the various levels of observance and relationship to their own Jewish identities. I really loved this book. There's this saying that you have 2 Jews and 3 opinions, which I feel like this book encapsulates in a nutshell, because you'll find a lot of different essays where the writers would probably disagree with each other on some pretty major things, but like that's just all part of the culture, and it's a really encouraged part of the culture, and it gave me a lot of really amazing ideas about anarchy and what we can do to create a culture of care for each other, where we reject authority that we do not consent to, and we replace that with a culture of care and mutual aid and anti-authoritarianism. What's not to love? Okay, so number 5 is Sufganiot, or jelly donuts. That's the Hebrew word for those. We eat those because they're fried in oil. So yes, Hanukkah is your holiday that gives you an excuse to eat donuts. Go eat your donuts. So the question for this is, what stories and books feel especially warm and cozy to you right now? Because I feel warm and cozy when I'm eating hot donuts in the winter. For me, I'm actually rereading the Alana the Lioness series by Tamora Pierce. These are other books that really inspired my love of reading from a young age. So I actually am halfway through my reread of the series. These are about a girl named Alana who disguises herself as a boy to go into the knight training school in her country, because there has not been a woman knight in hundreds of years, and women are technically forbidden from becoming knights. That's another trope that I freaking love. Like knights, chivalry, chivalric romance, all of that stuff. I am so here for that. Okay, and then latkes, or potato pancakes. Again, we eat those because they're fried in oil, but also because historically the potato pancake thing comes from Ashkenazi Jews in like Eastern Europe and Russia and places like that. That's my family history, although there are many other different like cultures within Judaism, and this is just mine. But these are made with potatoes because potatoes are really filling and they just get you through winter. They have all of the vitamins and minerals that you need. So for that, I'm going to do a book that has carried you through dark times. And for me, this is Devotions by Mary Oliver. This is a collection of her poems. This came out right around the time that she passed away, but I read this book every day when I wake up and I get my morning coffee, and this is just something that I read a couple of poems from every day, and I adore it. Okay, next is Gelt, which are the little gold coins made out of chocolate. And the Gelt I have a couple different ones for, because when you play the Dreidel game, sometimes you have to give your Gelt to other people if you roll a bad letter, and then sometimes you get to take it from other people. So the question for this is, what book do you always give away / recommend? And alternatively, what's a book that you have been given that you really treasure? So we'll start first with the most recent book that I gave away, which is Being Seen, One Deafblind Woman's Fight to End Ableism by Elsa Sunison. Elsa is a local author, fantastic Twitter follow, and this is her sort of memoir / autobiography about her life as a deafblind woman. She's also the first deafblind author ever to win a Nebula Award and a Hugo, she's the first deafblind author ever to win a Hugo Award, And she has also won Nebula Awards. And I recently picked this book up because I wanted to gift it to my mom, and I picked up a copy for myself because I wanted to read it. So a little bit of both there. And then as for a book that I have been given that I treasure, this has also been a book that has gotten me through some rough times, was Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. This copy is from my best friend Colin. This book is really important to me. That's it. This is the one that is my treasure. Okay, and then the final one is Not the Jewish Christmas. A lot of people, I hear Hanukkah described as the Jewish Christmas. Number one, it's not that, since Christmas is literally celebrating the birth of Christ originally, and Jews in Christ, like, don't believe that. And yeah, just because it happens during winter around Christmas time usually does not make it the Jewish Christmas. It's its own thing with distinct cultural significance, religious significance, and celebrations that are not Christmassy. So I'm going for what is a book or bookish thing that you misunderstood originally, or changed your mind about, or learned something that, you know, informed you better. And for me, this was 100% my preconceived notions about romance novels. I have talked about this before on my channel because I remember when I joined the romance book club that I'm in right now, I did it because I wanted to learn what all the fuss was about. I definitely thought that they were silly and like overly sentimental. I thought that they just weren't for me. I thought that I wouldn't have fun reading them, and I completely changed my mind about that. So yeah, Not Your Mama's Romance. And that's it for the Hanukkah book tag. You may or may not have noticed that there are 8 questions. That's to celebrate the 8 nights of Hanukkah. And to all of you celebrating out there, I wish you Chag Sameach and happy holidays to those of you who are not celebrating Hanukkah but other winter holidays. I would love to see Kathy, Cece, Michelle, and Erin do this book tag, and if you would like to do it yourself, feel free. You don't have to be Jewish to do this, and I hope you learned something about Hanukkah and about this really awesome Jewish holiday by doing this video. So yeah, that's it. If you like what you see here, you can subscribe to my channel for more stuff like this, me rambling, having fun, talking about books. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!